Hello student. New syllabus has been introduced by Maharashtra State Board from this academic year 2020-21. There are total 6 chapters in information technology and 3 types of skill oriented practicals. Now we will see the first chapter, Advanced Web Design. Let's see introduction. We have been introduced to basic terminologies related to creation of web pages. Hypertext markup is an evolving language with different versions supporting different features. HTML5 is currently used because it supports mobile technology. The major browsers are Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Safari, Opera supports the feature of HTML5. First topic, forms in HTML5. In last year, we have studied different form controls like text, radio, checkbox, submit, reset, select and text area. These controls are used to collect different types of user inputs such as name, address, contact detail, multiple options from group of options as well as clearing and submitting of data, etc. HTML5 has introduced additional form controls which can also be used for validation purpose. Let us see what are that additional elements. So coming to the next slide, HTML5 advanced input elements. HTML5 introduces a number of new element types. Let us see one by one. First, input type control is input type equal to color, defines a color picker. Here the user has an option to insert a color into the input field. Second control, input type equal to number, defines a field for entering a number. Here the user has an option to insert a number into a input field. Then third control, input type equal to URL, defines a field for entering an URL. User is able to enter an URL into an input field. Fourth control, input type equal to image, defines an image as a submit button. Here the user is entering one image on a web page, but this image acts as a submit button. Then input type equal to date, defines a date picker with year, month and day format. Next control, input type equal to email, defines a field for an email address. Next control, input type equal to month, defines a month and year control in format YY, MM. Next control, input type equal to range, defines a range control. Default range is 0 to 100. Next control, input type equal to date time local, defines a date picker that includes the year, month, day and time. Next control, input type equal to time, defines the control for entering a time. Next control, input type equal to week, defines a week and year control. After that, next control, input type equal to search, defines a text field for entering a search string like Google search. Next control, input type equal to file, defines a file select field and browse button for file uploads. And last control, input type equal to tel, used to define input fields that should contain telephone number. Then there are certain attributes which are used along with this control in input type. See, input restrictions. A list of some common input restrictions is given below, few of which can be used for validation purpose. First attribute, disable. Disable specifies that an input field should be disabled. Means user is not able to enter the value in this field when attribute is used as disable. Second attribute, max, specifies the maximum value for an input field. Min, specifies the minimum value for an input field. Next attribute, pattern, specifies a regular expression to check the input values. After that, next attribute, read only, specifies that an input field is read only. Means user is not able to change the values provided in this field. Then next attribute placeholder. This acts as a temporary label showing the purpose of a text field without requiring a label tag. The next attribute required specifies that an input field is required. Means user has to enter the value in this field compulsory. Then next attribute autocomplete specifies whether a form or input field should have autocomplete on or off. Next attribute autofocus specifies that the input field should automatically get focus when the page loads. Next attribute height and width specifies the height and width of an input type equal to image. After that, next attribute multiple specifies that the user is allowed to enter more than one value in the input element. This works with input types like email and file. Again, there are some other useful attributes used with input tag that are first ID. This is used to identify the HTML element uniquely through the document object model. And second attribute class. It is used to apply cascading style sheet to the individual input element.